Hi, this is Kerry Artek with Wicked Stocks, bringing you a YouTube video update, really, on the S&P 500 index itself. This is not the SPY. You know, probably by now, that I do a daily SPY report, which is the S&P 500 Spider ETF. Same exact formations I'm going to be showing you here. I do on a daily basis, highly fine-tuned, more precise levels that change on a day-by-day basis on these same chart formations. And I want to mention that we started the weekly S&P 500 index as a regular weekly video series that started on wickedstocks.com this week, and it will continue indefinitely. We also started the NASDAQ 100 index to supplement, and that is a weekly as well, to supplement our daily Triple Q report. That is the NASDAQ 100 ETF, the high volume Triple Q. And we also started a weekly U.S. Treasury ETF video analysis, typically the TLT. So that's about all I'll say. Just know that as you're watching this video, this is available on a weekly basis. You'll get it every Sunday afternoon for the following week by week through wickedstocks.com. And you know, you can always get the daily SPY report too if you're not already a subscriber. And that is the daily analysis, every 5 to 10 minute videos every day on the S&P 500 Spider ETF, utilizing the same formations. The correlation is almost 100%, so they're very similar. Anyway, let's take a look at the charts. This is a weekly chart throughout. There are no daily charts. These are weekly charts. All the numbers I'm going to give you are good for the week of Monday, August 1st. And the week obviously ends on, that would be Friday. Is that August 5th? I guess if I'm doing my math right. Yes, August 5th. And that's an important date, Friday, August 5th, because we'll see where this chart lands with respect to some of these formations I'm going to show you. Lands meaning at the end of the week on Friday, August 5th, the closing bell. Where does this market end? Anyway, I want to backtrack this a little bit and show you, it's important to show you that we had a meaningful sell signal in March when the market violated this steeply rising channel bottom that it actually held pretty well prior to that a couple of months earlier. As you can see, maybe we can zoom in a little bit in the post-editing on this. You'll see that in a moment anyway, because I do open this chart up. But at the time, you know, what actually occurred was the market fell to this former long-term channel top, 13 years long. It goes back far left of this chart to the 2009 financial crisis low. We pushed through this formation about 2 years ago, and in my opinion was one of the events that set off a technical buy signal that played out and commenced with the all-time high from last January. From that high, we fell to the channel bottom that is presently at 4510.41, bounced pretty nicely for about a month and a half before falling back and then violating that channel bottom in March of this year. And then we commenced to continuing south to this long-term channel top, former channel top, that this week is at 3731.84. With Wicked Stocks, we follow these levels to the very tick, to the decimal equivalent. So these are precise levels, and you get the same with the daily SPY report, FYI. So here we are, and now the question, of course, is will the market rally retrace back up to the 4510.41 steeply rising channel bottom? Will it retrace back to the high area from January over time? And the answer for me is yes. I do think that is likely over the next half year or so, above 3731.84. Let's zoom in here at this chart, and there's the 4510.41 former channel bottom that I think is likely, provided, well, let's take a look at this formation here. And this is really kind of a critical channel top that we are pushing through this week. Now, on a day-by-day basis, the daily SPY report, for instance, the daily video series that I do, this formation held early in the week, Monday, Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, we pushed through with that big rally and settled above it. Right now, on a daily basis, we have a buy signal above this formation. The weekly chart, though, remains to be seen. Will we hold on to these gains into later week? Will the S&P 500 actually close this week, Friday, August 5th, above 4110.13, dropping week by week? Once again, these numbers will change next week. You can see these numbers next week if you sign on with wickedstocks.com, okay? Enough of the advertising, right? 4110.13, assuming we close above it, is our upward sort of accelerator into not only later August, but even into the fourth quarter. I think this is pretty much, if we close above 4110.13 after having tested that former long-term channel top that this week is at 3731.84 that I showed in an earlier slide, closing above 4110.13, I think we're probably 3 to 5 months away from reaching or retesting that 4818.62 all-time high from last January. And keep in mind that as that 4510.41 continues to rise, it will converge the week of November 21st with the high anyway. So this 3 to 5 month time horizon is actually pretty appropriate. So if we close this week above 4410.13, the S&P maintains a recovery dynamic into later year, and over the next 3 to 5 months, we should retest that 4818.62. This given the fact especially that former channel bottom at 4510.41 converges entirely over the next 3 to 5 months with the high from last January. Now 4510.41, if we get there sooner than later, should be respected for its ability to contain monthly buying pressures. And we could fall off from there for a number of weeks in a meaningful way. But overall, having tested long-term support, 3731.84, now it looks as if we're going to be closing the week perhaps above meaningful trend-defining channel resistance, trend-defining over the near to midterm time horizon. If we close above 4410.13, the recovery continues. And continues, I think, right now we have a descending 2/3 speed line. And I want to mention that because it's not going to be straight up, of course, at least I don't think so. We have a descending 2/3 speed line at 4303.79 this week, drops next week just a bit, that can contain weekly buying pressures when tested. I'm not about to say monthly or quarterly buying pressures, but I think weekly buying pressures. We could fall off from that speed line and fall back to the 4410.13 channel top within a week, 2 or 3, and then I'm assuming then that the 4410.13 channel top will then hold that pullback support, and the market can resume its recovery dynamic as we move into, say, September, October. This is just a scenario I'm outlining. Now, there's nothing to say that we wouldn't close above 4303.79 on the very week that we approach it. And if we do, then we have a more vertical accelerated recovery dynamic that over the following perhaps 2 to 3 weeks would then yield 4510.41. So there is a scenario where perhaps by the end of September, we actually reach that 4510.41 channel top. And I will say, once again, that it is the settlement above 4410.13 that for me is the critical turning point right now as we look into later year. We're going to have some hurdles on the way up. We've got the 2/3 speed line coming down at 4303.79. There's some 5/8 Fibonacci's on the way up. You've got other things going on, simple trend lines and such. But if I were to just look at the basic, it really is the holding above 4410.13 that should yield all out complete and full recovery by the end of the year back to that January high of 4818.62. Now, what if we close Friday, August 5th, below 4410.13 on the weekly chart? That would look like a mirror just pushing through meaningful resistance, and then the market craters back, falls to close below the channel structure as it did the previous week, holding below the channel structure despite the intra-week violation, closing below 4410.13 on Friday, August 5th, will keep this market on its heels, susceptible to falling back to 3731.84 long-term support, rising gradually once again on a weekly basis. On the way down, I'm just pointing out that 3945.86, that high from July, early July, I believe it was. Maybe it was late June, 3945.86 offers initial support. I'm just putting this out there for those of you who trade either the day traders, the 3 to 5 day swing traders, the 2 to 3 week position traders might make use of 3945.86. But if you're more in the class of trading, say, 2 to 3 weeks and beyond, 3 to 5 weeks, 2 to 3 months out, just know that closing the week below 4410.13 will keep the 3731.84 long-term channel top in reach again. I'm going to say by the end of September or sooner. And certainly a settlement at the end of any week below 3945.86 should bring that about within just 2 or 3 weeks. But that's not the image we see here. We've got a buy signal on the daily chart. We have a buy signal that's tentative on the weekly chart, confirmed with a settlement Friday above 4410.13. The recovery should then continue, and that narrowing range that is wide right now between 4510.41 and the all-time high of 4818.62 is anticipated over the next 3 to 5 months. And as it turns out, over the next 3 to 5 months, those formations or those levels converge the week. I think that would be the week of Thanksgiving. Anyway, I think that is pretty much it. Anything beyond this would be repetitious. I'll leave it at that. You can always rewind and scroll back. And I thank you for watching. I invite you to go to wickedstocks.com and become a premium member. There is so much that we're putting out on a continuous basis. You almost won't be able to keep up with it. But it's all valid, good stuff. Good information like you see here in a wide variety of instruments. You have a great day, and thanks for watching.